Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to show you how to build this ultimate modern survival base in Minecraft. This contemporary structure not only looks good, but is also very functional for a survival world. On the inside we have a storage room fit with a cozy spot for the bed, furnaces for smelting, plus a brewing stand and all of the other crafting blocks hidden away behind those trapdoors there. And there's also an underground enchanting room. And on the outside we have a crop farm on the roof, as well as some sugarcane and bamboo planted on the sides of the building to be harvested whenever needed, and of course a swimming pool, because every survival base needs a swimming pool. This one is complete with pool floaties and a fruit basket. Before we go through the materials list and start building, it may be worth mentioning that you can easily change out the block palette of this house. Maybe you prefer oak to spruce, or even light grey instead of grey concrete. Perhaps you want to change out the colour of the glass as well. What I'm saying is you can basically customize the entire build and make it look however you want it to, even if it's something like this, although I really would not recommend it. So we're going to be sticking with how it looked originally. All of the items that we're going to be using to make this build are stored within inside these two double chests. The top one is filled with all of the main building blocks that we're going to be using, which is primarily stone as well as some smooth stone slabs. We then need some regular glass and then light grey stained glass along with the panes. We then have all of our concrete, white, grey and then light blue, as well as some smooth quartz slabs and stairs. We then have some grey carpet and white carpet with a little bit of cyan terracotta and light blue terracotta. Those are going to be what makes up the floor on the inside. We then have all of our spruce variants at the bottom here, along with two birch doors. And in the bottom chest we have all of the miscellaneous items, starting off at the top here with all of the blocks that are helpful in survival. Crafting tables, enchanting tables, beds, that sort of thing. The rest of the blocks are mainly decorative, so if you can't get your hands on some of them, it's not the end of the world. Horn coral fan, for example, may be difficult to come by, so just get as much of this as you can and you should be good. A couple of the items might need some explaining though. These three jack-o'-lanterns are going to be hidden lighting, so it doesn't really matter what they are. As long as they provide the maximum light level, you're all good. So you could even use something as simple as torches. You're also going to need some armor to go on top of your armor stand, and 5 items to go inside of your item frames here, which will probably become evident as you place these down. You also need some wheat seeds or any potato, carrot or beetroot, whatever you want really, it's up to you I suppose. And then finally at the bottom here, these 3 rose bushes represent the amount of tall flowers you're going to need, these 16 poppies represent the amount of small flowers needed, and finally 2 water buckets to fill up your swimming pool. Real quickly, I'm just going to run over all of these items so you can see what they're called, just in case any of you aren't sure what they are. Just skip forward 10 seconds if you already know. The size of this build is roughly 29 by 23 blocks, and of course make sure you've got a flat surface to build upon. Either find it or terraform it for yourself like I've done here. Just make sure it's nice and flat before we start building. And the first thing we're going to do is actually build the front staircase using our stone stairs here. Just make sure you got enough room either side of you and plenty in front, as this is right at the start of the build. So we're going to go 1 stair here, then across by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 more for a total of 7. And then basically we just want to repeat that 2 more times, so that we end up with a 3 high staircase. On either side of the staircase we are going to make a 4 by 5 rectangle just like this, so that we have 6 spaces here in the middle. We can bring each of those up by 2 more blocks, and then put a line of smooth stone slabs going all the way around the edging, and then we can have 6 grass blocks in the middle, which will be a flower bed. We can repeat that on the other side too. And once you have something that looks like this, we can then come around to the right hand side here, grab our stone stairs, and then on this second block inwards on the ground level here, have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 stone stairs going across to the right. Come round 90 degrees and then place 4 more down like that. We can then come up to the next level here and place down 4, turn around and then place down 3. And now what we can do is on this block right here, place a stone block, 2 either side of it, and then 5 more right here to make this little circle positioned like so, and then bring it up by 3 more blocks for a total of 4. And then very simply, like we've done over here, circle it with smooth stone slabs and place a grass block in the middle to make a flower bed. Next up, we're going to grab some full stone blocks or just stone slabs if you want to save on some resources, and then make a 3x3 right here. We can then stand on this little platform and just have a line of stone stairs curving all the way around, connecting up to both of the flower pots we've just made. And now what we can do is come around to the right hand side of this long flower bed, and we're going to start off by placing a block here, so 1 inwards, and then go across by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Turn around 90 degrees and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 more blocks. You can then bring this up by 2 more. And then line the top with stone slabs, the smooth variant that is. So once you have that wall in place over there, now what you can do is come around to the left hand side of the build, and on this outer block here just have 2 stone blocks with 2 more on top and then 2 stairs. This will actually become the entrance to the swimming pool when we build it in a little bit. But now what we're going to do is grab some stone blocks and go across by 11. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Should see lines up nicely with the other blocks we placed down, and then go across by 7. And once again, bring it up by 2 blocks and line it with stone slabs. You should be left with 3 blocks here in the center of both of these walls. And now what we can do here and here is make another one of these tall flower beds. So we're going to grab our stone blocks, have 3 across the back, 2 coming forward, and then 1 to connect up and finish the little circle that we've just made there. Or a square, maybe is the right term. And now what we can do is bring up by 3 more blocks. And as always, in the center we can have our grass and then line it with the smooth stone slabs, like so. And now once we've got our flower beds done, we can grab our stone stairs, come down to the bottom, and on the outer block we can just have 3, and then 3 more on the second level, and then another 3rd staircase leading up to the top here. And pretty much all that is left to do is fill in this entire area with either stone blocks or stone slabs. I would recommend the slabs because it's just going to be cheaper overall, and you will have to get rid of some eventually when we replace the floor, for example, on the inside, but just for simplicity's sakes, fill in this entire area with the slabs. Well, we're going to get started with the house shortly, but first of all, we're going to build the swimming pool. So we're going to come to the left-hand side of the house here next to this flower bed, and on this block, we're going to place in a grey concrete, and then go across by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and on the 7th block, we're actually going to make that 3 high. What we can also do is just break these 2 blocks here, and make those grey concrete as well. And then we're going to go across by 9. Like so, and then on the 10th block here, once again can be brought up by 3, and then just bring it all the way across to the other side, a total of 6, like the other one. And same again, just get rid of those 2 blocks and replace them with the grey concrete. And all of these spaces in between, too high, we're just going to have some glass. And then finally, we're going to grab our smooth stone slabs again, and then just line the top. Like so. Before we fill this pool with water, we of course have to make the bottom look a little bit better. So we're going to get rid of all of this grass here, or stone, or whatever you happen to be building on, and replace it with light blue concrete. There we go, that looks pretty nice, I would say. You could maybe even build in some sort of mosaic and make a pattern here on the pool floor. But we're going to grab our water buckets now, and you need 2 if you're doing this in survival. And we want to start off by placing 1 here in the corner. Any of them will be fine. But pretty much the gist of it is, leave a gap of 1, and that will create an infinite water source. And if you follow that pattern all the way around, the bottom level here will be filled up completely with water. And you want to do that for the same on the 2nd level, and then also the 3rd level as well. Obviously this one is a little bit different because we have these stone stairs that we have to fill in, but as you can see, if you just basically place it on every other block, it fills in completely with water. And now we just need to make a staircase so you can actually walk into this thing. So underneath these 2 stairs, we're going to have 2 full stone blocks, and then basically on this bottom level, we just want to ring it around with the stone stairs. As you can see, they are curved on the corner, just like that. And then we're going to have these 2 facing inwards on the outer blocks, and then 2 more in the center here, just so it curves around once again, and you can actually walk in and out of your pool. We're going to add in the pool floaties, the flowers, and any other details on the outside of the build here in a little bit, but for right now we're going to get started on the main house itself, beginning with the center grey concrete piece. And we need to place 2 blocks here diagonal from these smooth stone slabs and bring them up by 10 more blocks for a total of 11. And then we can have a connector block right here, and then bring both of these corner blocks forward by 7 more. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Same again on this side, and then we just want to bring them directly downwards until they reach the floor on the bottom. And then we can once again have another block here at the top, and then 1 more at the floor. And we just want to leave the top bit empty for now and come round to this staircase here, and we want to place in a spruce door on the back of that block right there. Grey concrete above it, and then we're just going to grab our light grey stained glass panes here and fill all of those in, as well as the line at the front right here. And then we're going to switch over to our grey stained glass, the full blocks, and just line the top level like so. And what you can also do is just line all of this with grey carpet just to stop mob spawning on the top of your house. Sticking with the grey concrete here, we're going to come around to the right hand side of this shape we've just made, and just next to the spruce door we're going to place in 1 grey concrete here. Bring it up by 2 blocks, and then we're going to leave a gap of 3 and then place 2 here against this wall, and once again bring it up by 3 blocks in total. We can then have a horizontal line going all the way across the top, and then do that 2 more times. And now, keeping with the grey concrete still, we're going to have a line going all the way across the top here. Leave these 2 gaps, but then we're just going to bring this down by 3 and fill in this little section right here. And that right there is this wall done, so you should have this 6 block gap and this 9 block gap on the floor. Over here on the other side, we're going to start off on the bottom level facing the spruce door, and on this block go up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th one just have a line of grey concrete going across to the other side like so. We can then actually hop up here and leave these 2 gaps open like we have on the opposite side here, and just bring the 3rd block all the way up to the top, and we should have something that looks like this. The bigger of the 2 holes over on the right hand side is just going to become a plain window, so fill all of that in with light grey panes. And this one is actually going to become a doorway leading to the rooftop garden. So on the left hand side here, we're just going to have our glass panes, but instead of connecting them to the wall, we're actually going to bring them outwards, so it looks a little bit like a folding door that you could close shut if you wanted to. Sticking with this side over here, but switching up to the white concrete instead of the grey, directly underneath this glass pane that sticks outwards, we're going to have a white concrete block and bring that up by 1, 2, 3, and 4 more blocks. We can then come across by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, so it reaches the other side, and once again bring it up to the same level and actually connect those 2 across the top. That right there will become a window. Now we can just have another line of 5 white concrete and then bring it across by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And on the 7th and the 6th block here, just bring that up so that you can connect it up like so to make another larger window. As for around the front here, what we can do is on this block actually come across by 6 blocks going all the way like so, and then connect it down to the floor. So we should be looking like this. And now we can leave a 2 block gap here and just have a line of white concrete going all the way up, and then 2 more blocks right here. So all of this is going to become windows that you can fill in with glass panes, with the exception of the birch doors that are going to go in this 2x2 hole here. We need to do something about this open gap, so what we can do is next to this grey concrete here is place in 5 white concrete and connect it up to the top, and then just fill it in with glass panes like so. We then need to grab 5 smooth quartz stairs and just place them upside down like this. It'll make sense when we do the inside, but that's not for a little while. What we need to do now is just fill all of this ring in with smooth stone slabs. And then after that, you can fill in the center with dirt blocks, but leaving the center block open for our water source to go. But we're not going to place that in just yet, otherwise it'll cause a bit of a flood inside here. Instead, we want to grab our smooth quartz slabs and just do a ring around all of the dirt blocks you can see here on the ceiling on the inside, and the rest can be filled in with spruce trapdoors. Just try and make sure they're facing all the same way and some aren't sideways like that. otherwise it'll look a little bit weird. And then on the trapdoor block is where you want to place a sea lantern. Again, you can use any lighting block you want, but there are limited options for the full blocks, and I think sea lanterns look the best. So if you can get your hands on some of them, it is wise because they do look really good. You just want to place your water bucket here, however, and waterlog it with a spruce trapdoor like so. Then you can grab your hoe and till all of the dirt up here, and then place whichever seed type down you would like to grow. Awesome, so that is the rooftop garden complete, the building below it, as well as the centerpiece complete. Now we're going to work on the final main section of the build here, starting off by getting rid of these 2 blocks here on the corner of the flower bed, and then placing in 9 white concrete going all the way up. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're then going to do the same over here in this corner. And then we can connect these up with some horizontal concrete, and then we're going to also connect them to the grey concrete in the center here, so on the back, and then round the front as well. And now what we can do is go down by 1, 2, and 3 blocks, and on the 4th one here, basically do the same again. Connect it from the grey concrete to the white concrete, from the white concrete to the grey concrete, and then back again. I'm pretty sure I said that in the wrong order, but you get the gist of what we're doing here. Just making the main box and the structure of the build. Now time to figure out where the windows are going. So as for around the front of the build here, we're just going to have a line of white concrete there, leave a gap of 3, and then place 2 more here and bring it all the way up. So we have a 3x3 and a 1x3. Round the side here, we're just going to make 3 window slits by adding in those 6 white concrete like so. And then round the final side here, we just need another 1x3, and then we're actually going to have a 4x3 this time. So fill in all of these with regular glass panes. As for filling in the roof, we're going to come to the center window here and place in a white concrete, then a sea lantern, then 2 white concrete, then another sea lantern, and 2 more white concrete. Then you can go ahead and fill the rest in. And then you can grab your smooth stone slabs and make a ring around the top of the build here. And then just fill the rest in with white carpet, once again to stop mob spawning. As for the bottom section of this build, we actually need to grab some spruce planks, a spruce stair, and then a spruce door, as well as some glass panes for windows. And we're actually going to start off around the back of the build, placing a spruce plank 1 diagonally away from this white concrete, and just bring that all the way across over to the grey concrete, 3 up on either side, and then just add in a line across the top. Finally, we can just place in 2 spruce planks here to make these 2 2x2 windows that we can fill in with glass panes. We can then come round to the side of the build here and have 4 spruce planks like so, and then just on this top block have 3, and then curve them round to the side here by placing in 3 more. We can then bring a pillar here down to the surface, 1 across the top, and then another line down to the bottom. Upside down spruce stair on this block here, and then this 2x1 gap can become our doorway. Place the spruce door on the back of this block right here. Then we can switch over to our glass panes and pretty much turn this entire section into a window. So just place them on the underside of the spruce planks, and then on the underside of the glass panes, and then just along the floor like so. So that is actually the main structure of the build all done. We're now ready to build up our farms, starting with the bamboo that's going to go in this little section right here. Now this is a pretty small area to actually farm bamboo. We're just going to replace those 5 blocks with grass. So if you want to maybe just have this be purely decorative and set up a bigger and better bamboo farm somewhere else in your world, that would be a good idea. But we're going to place bamboo on all of those grass blocks, and they won't grow this fast. I have my random tick speed set to very high in this world, but something you can do to make this look a little bit better and maybe suit the modern style slightly more is actually halt some of the growth of this bamboo with string. So say for this first one here, we just break the top block and try and beat the random tick speed and place a string, which is near enough invisible unless you get really up close, and the bamboo won't actually grow any more than this. So maybe the second one we leave full, and then the third one here we have it too high, maybe leave the next one full, and then the end one can be too high once again. So that just looks a little bit better than having them all the same level. As for the sugarcane round the back, we're going to have 7 across this area and then 7 across on the other side. I'll just show you how to do one as they're going to be virtually the same. So the first step is to get rid of all 7 of these stone slabs and then actually hop on down and break the slabs just behind it here underneath the spruce planks. We then want to go down by a block and just place 7 full blocks along the bottom here that you can actually then place some water on top of. Now it's going to cause a bit of a flood. You could just place one and let it flow all the way across. That would be absolutely fine, but obviously sugarcane needs a water source nearby to actually grow. So if we just place in our grass blocks, that will stop the flood underneath our house here, and then we can see we are able to place the sugarcane on top of the grass, and that will eventually grow over time. We can then copy it around on this side too. You could also have the sugarcane round the back here being purely decorative if you're not looking to harvest it, like with the bamboo over there, simply by placing some string sporadically on top of all of the sugarcane to halt the growth. But I think sugarcane is a nice thing to have nearby to actually harvest and use, maybe for some firework rockets as paper perhaps. But the next thing to do is place in all of our flowers. So on the tall flower beds here with the 1 wide hole, we are going to place some tall flowers, the 2 high ones, maybe a rose bush and a lilac here round the back. Over on this one here, I'm going to have a peony. You could also have a sunflower or maybe even a large fern just by bone mealing that one right there. But these ones we're just going to fill up with all of the small flowers, maybe some tulips, maybe some classic dandelions. Really just gather a bunch together, 12 in total, and place them down. So you end up with something like this, nice and colourful. And now we can work on our little table and chairs out the front. So to begin with, we're going to place a spruce stair on this block right here, 1 block away from those glass panes with a slab in front. Then leave a gap of 1 and then build another chair like so. Maybe there's some sort of sun lounger, not that the sun is in a particularly good spot currently. But now what we can do on this block 1 away diagonally is place 2 spruce trapdoors like so. Make sure you're facing this way so that when you flick them up, they go away from you. And then we can just have 6 spruce trapdoors on the same level as the top of those trapdoors, so just make sure they're not up by a block like that. And then we can have 2 more on this side here, just to make a nice little table. And then pretty much this is going to be where you display some food possibly. There's a lunchtime snack going on, so of course a cake is always a good thing to have down. Maybe some flower pots is some drinks. And then we're going to have 2 item frames with some food products inside, possibly a bread and a pumpkin pie. Next up, we need to make this pool look a little bit better, which we're going to do by adding in the pool floaties. So it doesn't really matter where you place these down, of course, just as long as it's in the water. But we're just going to grab a temporary block here and just bridge out until we want to add one in. I'm thinking maybe we build one right here. So just make sure the trapdoor is partially submerged into the water. Get ready a temporary block like so, and then just put some carpet on top, whatever color you like really. And then I'm thinking maybe we do another one just over here with a different color, possibly even over by 1 more block. Just add green on top of that one, and then I'm thinking 1 block away from this one we add another spruce trapdoor. This one is just by itself though. It's actually going to be like a floating fruit basket, so we're going to place in a item frame here with an apple inside. Maybe just rotate it around like that, and then we can place in our horn coral fan. Kind of, if you use your imagination, looks like a fruit basket with a single apple inside. Of course, if you don't have access to coral, you can just leave that out. It's no biggie. The final thing to do is add in some lighting with some end rods here. Now I'm going to do this in a way so that no mobs can actually spawn on the blocks that we place down. Of course, mobs do have pretty good access to the base itself, so maybe building a wall around this would be a good idea if you're worried about that. But we're going to do it in a way so that no mobs will actually be able to spawn up here on the stone. So to begin with here, 1 block in front of this corner stair, we're going to place 2 end rods with a white carpet on top. And then just use the same thing over here on the other side. And then in front of this smooth stone slab we're going to make another one, and then the 4th and final one can go next to this peony here, just in front of the corner glass panes. And finally we just need a stack of 4 end rods here in the corner. So like I said, that is the exterior of the modern base all done. We are now ready to head inside and start work there. The first thing we're going to do here is sort out the floor, because of course we don't really want it being left as stone. We've got that on the outside, plenty is enough. But the first thing we're going to do is actually break these 3 blocks here in this 3x3 area we left in the grey concrete, and actually replace those 3 blocks on the floor with our hidden lighting. I'm using jack-o'-lanterns, and we're just going to go ahead and cover it up with some white carpet, just to make a nice little divider between the 2 floor colours. So the cyan terracotta is going to be on this section right here, so we can go ahead and get rid of all of these stone slabs, which of course will make a little bit of a mess with the water. Make sure you get the blocks underneath the glass panes too, and then we can just fill that all back in. And you should have one missing, and that's actually because we need to break this block right here. We're going to put something in replace of that. So that's that little section done as far as the floor is concerned. Next thing we need to do is break all of the blocks here on the floor, of course including these underneath our glass panes. And once again, that's making quite the mess, so let's go ahead and fill that line in with the light blue terracotta and just block off the water. And we're going to fill it all in with the exception of that block right there, just underneath the grey concrete here. But go ahead and just fill the rest in with light blue terracotta, and you should find you have just about enough. With a little bit left over, that's actually going to be used in an underground enchanting area, which is where this hole is going to lead to. So first things first, we're going to break this stone slab and then add in 3 light blue terracotta reaching up to the grey concrete here. We can then add in 5 ladders so we can easily access down here. Do go careful of mob spawning though, as it's going to be fairly dark underneath the base. They may be wandering around. But now we can go ahead and carve out a 3x3 hole right here and actually dig down 2 more blocks to make it 3 deep, and then we can grab our 8 barrels and actually drop on down. And on the outside blocks of all of this area, we're going to add in some barrels facing upside down so we can make use of the upside down bottom texture of the barrel. You may want to fill all of this in just to stop mob spawning, but go ahead and place in the enchanting table in the center. This, by the way, can also be used as storage. You can still access all of the barrels even though they aren't facing the right way. Next up, we're going to grab our bookshelves and basically add in 15 of them, going all the way around until they reach up to the other side, and as you can see here, you can in fact get 30 levels. The next thing to do on top of the bookshelves in all 4 of the corners is place in 3 light blue terracotta just like this, so we're left with 3 open spaces to 1, put an end rod in, and 2, an anvil and a grindstone. But before we do that, we're going to place some light blue terracotta behind all of those blocks, and then for whatever this one is up here, we're also going to need to break the block above it and also place in 1 behind. Might be a little bit tricky, but you should be able to do it in the end. So we got our end rod there in front of us, our grindstone can go here, and our anvil the other side. That right there is the enchanting area all done. Next up, we can sort out the ceiling of this room, and we're going to do that by first of all placing in 3 spruce planks, and then we're going to fill the rest in with spruce slabs going all the way across, which will nicely complete the ceiling and also make a good floor for the second level up here, which is actually what we're going to lead to now by making a staircase out of smooth quartz stairs. And the first one can go right here, and then the back of it we're going to place an upside down one, and then just do the same again over here. Might be a little bit tricky, but you can utilize your ladder to actually place it down. And then the next one can go facing into the grey concrete here, and then we're going to have an upside down one facing towards the door like so. So we should have this at the moment, and then basically we're just going to staircase our way up, facing one forward and then an upside down one until we reach this level right here, where we can then place another upside down stair and finally make this block into a slab. This is nicely going to lead to the storage room, but we'll come back to that later on. This room is going to hold all of the helpful crafting blocks, stone cutter, cartography table, that sort of thing. And there's going to be 5 in total, which will go right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just temporarily, we're placing down some stone blocks, and we're going to cover all of them up with spruce trapdoors on the front and on the side, and of course on the top. We'll come back to this later on and replace them with the actual blocks when there's more room on the hotbar. But for right now, what we're going to do is come to this hole in the ground and place a stone block there with a lever on top, power it, and then place a piston which should extend like so. Now on top of here, with this table is what we're imagining it as. You could place whatever you want, maybe a flower pot, but what I'm going to do is have an item frame with a tripwire hook inside. I always imagine this is some sort of key to lock the front door. And finally for this room, we're just going to have 2 end rods here next to the door and have a white carpet on top, similar to what we have on the outside. And of course, we want to get rid of all of these stone blocks here and replace them with a loom, cartography table, stone cutter, smithing table, and then crafting table, in whichever order you would like. And you can either leave them up, or if you don't like the look of them, hide them away with the trapdoors and pretend this is some sort of bench or desk, or just use your imagination. It's really up to you. In the bigger room over here, a section of it is going to be a kitchen area, which is what we're going to build facing out of this window, which is why you may possibly not even want to have the sugarcane here if you want a nice view while you're doing the dishes. But what we're going to do in the corner here on the left hand side is place in a barrel just as some extra storage with a brewing stand on top in case you want to make some potions. And then we're going to have a blast furnace, smoker, and regular furnace, or interchange these to whatever suits your needs. And then we're going to have a cauldron here, fill it with water, and then 2 iron blocks with a tripwire hook as a sink to fill up the water. And then these 2 iron blocks are not just iron blocks, they are actually a fridge. So on the front of it, we need to place an iron door, and then round the side, we can have an iron button with a light grey banner on this block right here, which I'm imagining is a towel. It's all well and good having functional items inside of a survival base, but this is a modern home and it could probably use some aesthetic touches. Now we have some items in here that are purely cosmetic and don't provide any sort of function, but I think we could use some more. So the first thing we're going to build here is an abstract carpet using light grey and grey carpet blocks. And the first one is going to go 1 block in front of the blast furnace, so leave a gap of 1 and place a dark carpet here, then a light, then a dark, then 2 dark, and a light down here, a dark, and then a light. Doesn't really matter how you build that, to be honest, but if you want to copy what I've done here, that's what you need to do. And next up, we're going to grab some smooth quartz slabs here, and 1 block in the corner here on this top level, we're going to have a slab where we can maybe have a bamboo in a flower pot. We're then going to place another one here, and on top of that, we can display an armor stand. Whether you choose to put some armor on or just leave it like that, either way, I think it should look pretty cool. We're then going to turn around to our birch drawers over here, and just to the left of it, we're going to have a smooth quartz slab, and then another one right here. On top of the higher block, we can have an end rod, but on this lower one, we're going to have a flower pot. And finally, what we're going to do is just stick a flower pot here in the corner, grab a fern and put it inside, and then have 2 oak leaves on top to make this large bush in the corner. Now these bushes are extra bushy because I have them through a resource pack found on vanillatweaks.net. So if you want to get your hands on that, just go to the website. The wall next to this staircase is looking awfully empty, and I think it could use some paintings, but we're going to need some temporary blocks here just to make sure we don't get any too big. We want a simple 1x1 painting right here, so we need a temporary block just to the side, and then just cycle through until you get one that you want. That right there is the one I'm looking for. But then we're going to come up the staircase here, and on these 2 blocks, we're just going to have a 2-high painting. That right there is awesome. And then on these 4 blocks, we're going to have a 4x4 painting. So we want a block here, and then a block here. And I think that right there should do it. Yeah, so you can just cycle through the 4x4 paintings until you get one that takes your fancy. I think that one is pretty good. That just makes the wall look a little less bland. You could probably even sneak in some hidden lighting if you wanted to. But as for the storage room slash bedroom here, the first thing we're going to do is have a line of white concrete across the bottom here, and in front of it we can have some spruce stairs. On these end 2 blocks we're going to have a cyan bed, and on the side of it just cover it up with spruce trapdoors and flick them upwards like so, and then we're going to have 3 stairs, 1 facing towards us, and just bend them round to the side like that. And finally we need an item frame with maybe a clock inside or whatever you want to put in there really. Now we are trying to make it so that no mobs are able to spawn inside of this house or anywhere super nearby, and as you can see here we have a couple of light level 7s which is actually spawnable for mobs. So to counteract that, we're simply going to have 2 end rods at the top here. And now we can start work on our storage room, and the first thing we're going to do is have a double chest here on either side like so, 2 in fact, and we're just going to stack them up so they're 3 high. Unfortunately we can't have them anymore because you can't open open that block there because it's a solid one above it. But we can just stack them up on either side, and then we're also going to have 6 more in the middle here, just like that. And then for symmetry purposes, we're just going to have 2 crafting tables and then 2 barrels facing upwards on top of both of those. And then the top one here can actually face outwards there, just for some extra storage. And then very finally, we can stick an ender chest in front of the middle section. So that is the base all done. We are finally complete inside and out. It took a long time, but we got there in the end. And I just want to say before we go here, there is actually going to be a world download available for all of my YouTube members and Twitch subscribers. If you want access to the world download and you're not already a member, just click the join button down below for more details. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope it helped you out and that you enjoyed watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.